What's going on, ladies and gents? This is Dorian.
And this is Miss MVP. How are you guys doing today? Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon.
Someone's already in the giggly mood. All right.
I was told I was being mean today.
Well, I won't say that you were mean, but yeah, you were definitely on one a bit. I'll say that.
There's a lot of jabs being thrown today. I'm a little upset. I dropped my phone in the toilet. Ay.
But you got a replacement on the way, though, right?
And I did. And no, it wasn't the kind of situation that the listeners are thinking about. It was a clean toilet. So yeah, I'm a little upset. It'll be here in a couple of days. So deep breaths. I'm very dependent of my phone, I found out today.
Yeah, as most people are nowadays, but just being able to pull away from it, I think will probably be a good experience, hopefully.
Well, I got two other phones, so they're not like my phone. It's like sleeping in a different bed type situation. Like there's other beds in the house. You're comfortable in the house, but it's nothing like sleeping in your bed.
Yeah, true enough.
Anywho, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. It was a easy Friday for me. Like I said, I got some stuff taken care of and actually did some stuff with my phone today. So,
show off.
Yeah, but it's all good. All right, so we are continuing the Black Village series with this episode.
Yes, we are.
And we are going into
our kings.
Yes. The Black fathers.
The great ones, the not so great ones, the ones that are here and the ones that are gone, father figures, all of them.
Yes, indeed. All right, so I will go ahead and get into it. And I will say, as a Black father, especially within the last couple of years, it's been real hard to try to get through these times, just in general, because, as we all know, with all the things going on in America, especially with racial tension, it has been difficult. And for someone that is living in the South and lived in some areas where you still happen to see the differences between the two Americas real heavy. It's been a trying time, to say the least.
What was a racial situation that affect you for you to bring that story up?
Just a couple of things. Well, of course, just from looking at Ahmaud Arbery, rest in peace, and George Floyd, having to see that, and then again, like I said, where I was living in the South of Mississippi, just seeing some of the things, especially with my job. We would, in my job, we had to go to customers' houses every now and again, and just seeing some of the imagery in some of the people's houses, not just, and I'm not just talking about, people having a rebel flag up, but actually people having Sambo dolls and blackface caricatures and what you I want to say, like porcelain, figures.
Yeah.
Yes, that's, just still seeing that in that time, and, it being, I guess you could say celebrated, but again, it is in their household. But just a guest, trying to, help them out with whatever I was, doing at the time. But again, just seeing those things is still kind of jarring.
Of course.
Especially for someone, that grew up in New York. Not to say that I didn't see racism in New York, but it's not as prevalent or as, seen as heavily,
But has anything affected you personally, though? You told me about that, but have you gone through anything personally?
I will say that I've been blessed where I haven't had that situation like directly with me. But a fear I did have was not too long after the George Floyd situation. I was actually in Mobile on my way back home to Mississippi. And I was going down the road and dimly lit, almost like a quote unquote country road. And a police car was directly behind me. And not to say that, I was doing anything wrong. I was, going the speed limit, following the rules of the road. But just having that police car behind me and thinking that, okay, I don't know what could be in that cop's mind.
Yeah.
In general, it could be, not to say that, again, there's good cops, there's bad cops. I'm not talking about that, but
you don't know what their triggers are.
Right, exactly. And then, just having that vehicle behind me, and of course, with all that stuff going on in my mind, just thinking about, okay, what if this cop decides just to pull me over and then sees that I'm black and he does, and he may have some built up aggression or something, and then I could be the, next life, taken. But once he turned off, I kind of sigh of relief and made it home safely. And then, like I said, no big racism things directly to me, but just having that experience was just, didn't like it.
Well, a segue situation from that. Do you feel like you have the necessary tools that you need in life, whether it's actual physical tools or your mentality or verbal communication and excellent communication skills to get you out of sticky situations like that?
Yeah. I know how to code switch very well when it comes to situations. I know how to keep my cool, keep my calm, when it comes to potentially hostile situations. So yeah, I'm not worried about that as far as communication. Physical tools, I will say, I don't own a gun. I plan on purchasing one. But I
have several.
But I do have a flashlight taser that I do keep on me from time to time. I'm not saying that I carry it all the time.
I'm afraid of those. Listen, I am a licensed concealed weapon carrier. I assert my right to bear arms as an American. Yes, I live in the South. I got Texas blood and Alabama blood rolling through me. So yes, I am going to carry. But tasers frighten the hell out of me. I don't know why, but they do. I've actually been tased before as a not necessarily a joke, but kind of like a learning thing. I went to a self-defense class. And they tased everybody. It wasn't like the really, really high ones. It was a low one, a low voltage. But that was no fun. It wasn't the prong ones. It was just, like you said, like a flashlight one. You just have to kind of get close enough to them. Yeah. But it was not fun. I can still feel it if I think hard enough. So, yeah. Okay. So, with your tools that you have, that you said that you can navigate through life with, that you really like, what do you instill with those tools? What do you instill in your children and the children that come around you?
Right. Well, especially with my daughters, I definitely try to, the big thing I've been on this year is communication in general, because again, just from my upbringing and situations that I've been through, whether it be personal or, I've seen from the third person, I want them to be able to communicate, one, how they feel. One, if they come up in a situation, I want them to be open enough to be able to come to me about anything. And I just want them to know that I'm always there for them. And just to be able to, one, treat people fairly, regardless of how we may be seen, no matter how we may be treated. We still want to, treat people the same way. The golden rule, pretty much.
Gotcha.
Treat others the way we want to be treated.
Okay. So, by you having girls, and I just said at the beginning of the show that we're talking about our kings, are you teaching them to be a queen in their right? Yes, not all girls will embrace that royalness right away, but being the male in their life, the dominant male in their life, are you teaching them to do that? Never tilt your crown. Don't be sad. This is how a man is supposed to do, da 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 da.
To be honest, I've never really had that like direct conversation with my daughters in regards to that, but I do my best to show how they should be treated by my actions.
Yeah.
So I definitely, I feel like I'm striving in that area. Again, even with the co-parenting split up, and they may not see me as often, but whenever I have those interactions with their mother, I do my best to make sure to show them that, yeah, even though you may not, there may come a time when, they may have been in a relationship with someone, they may have kids, and, things may not work out. But I'm setting the example to show that, hey, even if it doesn't work out, you don't have to turn the route where the person is dismissive and that male is playing an active part, in their children's lives. Then, there's some respect and friendship can be shown in that. And in regards to, like you said, just showing them how to be treated and what they should expect out of a man. I did have that conversation with my oldest daughter about when she goes on dates, the kind of things that
she better not be going on no date.
The kind of things that that she should, expect from the person that she's going out with, I know in our time and with, the younger generation, the courtesy and the
mannerism.
Mannerism, but I can't even think of the word right now. Like just in general, like a man opening the door for his woman, whether it be, to the car.
The manners being chivalry.
Chivalry, yes, chivalry, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
It's dead. Don't worry about it. No, I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
It ain't dead with me, but I know.
No, it's not. So with that being said, have you, besides, with the pandemic going on, have they taught you anything about themselves? Because the kids are at home more now than they have ever been, besides when we were younger. In this technology age, this is the most the kids have been home. So there were a lot of sports that were shut down. I know we were in the middle of baseball season. Baseball practice actually, and it shut down and it cut the season short. I actually pulled my son from baseball. We did spring soccer. That was a big thing. Had to pull. We didn't even get a chance to do fall soccer because of it. So have your kids taught you anything? Have you learned anything from your children and vice versa? Because we're able to be closer to each other and more accessible versus, I got to go here and there because of practices or games or meetings and so forth. As a Black father, have they taught you anything?
Yeah. I want to say the biggest lesson that I learned, especially from my oldest daughter, is again the lines of communication. We had a moment, and this was even prior to the pandemic, and our relationship was kind of tainted because of some stuff that was going on. But long story short, once she finally got it out on how she felt that I was treating her, how her mother was treating her, how we may have seen her, and just actually actively listening to her and taking in, all the information that she's given us. And, just having that, for one, for her to be honest, and then two, for me to be honest and just open up and be like, okay, thanking her for, and letting me know how she felt, and then just accepting it like, okay, the biggest thing. And, when it comes to, and I'll just say in general, but especially for Black fathers, it's not like a guidebook that we can go by. And
good child. No, it's not. I throw that book at some of y'all.
Yeah, there's no guidebook that we can go by. And the best example that we can have is, one, our fathers, if they're around, grandparents, uncles, and other, male figures that we have in our lives, and just seeing how they interact with their children, that kind of gives us the steps to where, okay, we see, all right, I don't like the way this one is doing it, but I do like this aspect of what he's doing. I'm going to go ahead and mix that with the stuff that my father taught me and the stuff that I learned from my grandfather, and mix that all together. And hopefully, that becomes the best step that I can have as a father. And, with that being said, even with the struggles that I was having with my daughter, like, again, just going back to the communication, just being able to have those open lines as far as feelings and emotions for someone that is considered an extrovert and can be a little shelled when it comes to emotions. That was the biggest eye opener. And dealing with that experience with her has just opened me up to being more open myself. Not saying I have my heart fully on my sleeve, but I consider myself, I say I have a quarter sleeve on at the moment.
Oh, Lord. Okay. So by you being in two male-dominated fields, have you come across any other Black men with things that they've struggled with? Because I know you guys have y'all quote unquote barbershop talk and all this other good stuff where y'all can express yourself to each other without judgment. Have you come across anybody who have struggled with things in their personal life, and of course no names will be named,
Right.
in their personal life, and you've given them advice, and vice versa? Have you opened up about issues to get advice? Because the reason why I'm asking is because this is a safe space between us as well as our listeners.
Right.
So there are inquiring minds that want to know, because there may be someone out there listening who was not as close to their father, whether it be male or female, or it might be a guy that's listening who wants to reach out to his father because of a relationship that was tainted or broken, and feel like, well, he has my number or he knows where I am, he should contact me. But in actuality, the open line of communication works both ways.
Yes.
So, like in the situation where I was just saying, I had a great, awesome relationship with my dad. And I know some people who had a not so awesome relationship with their dad, where they may see them once every 5 to 6 years and speak to them just to say, hey, I'm alive type thing. But it's not, it's a lot of built up tension in the streets of Black communities because of stubbornness, pride, and not being open enough to say, I miss you. I miss what we had. I miss our friendship. I want a hug. Let me come and talk to you. Open arms. There's no shame in that. And if that person wants to push you away, then you already know where you stand in their life. And that's where your healing begins. Yeah. So back to my question. Have you come across anybody like that? And if so, have you given them any type of word of advice or anything like that, or anyone close to you?
I actually had one of the buddies that I used to work with. He was going through some issues, on the family side. Not as far as but in relationship with his wife and just decisions that he was making and stuff and issues that he was going through. And at the time, I was going through my separation, so it's something that we briefly discussed, while working, and he just reached out to me and he was just pretty much just, poking my brain, trying to picking my brain, just trying to see, my ideas and thoughts on them. And we had a long conversation about, compromising and, standing on your own and, just being able to fully vocalize, exactly what he was trying to get across, and don't let anger get into the argument, because again, everyone pretty much knows that once things get heated, some things can be said and can be taken out of context, or you say some things just to be hurtful, just to kind of get your point across. But after we had the conversation, he came back to me. It was like, hey, D, hey, I appreciate, what you told me, that helped, get me through, a discussion, an argument that he was having with his significant other. And, just being able to, one, be there for another brother was just, just a good feeling, because again, I've always been the type of person that feels like regardless of where we stand, we all have to be one and fight as one. And if we're not able to lift each other up in some way, form, or fashion, then, we're doing ourselves a discredit. Now, not to say that there'll always be those that won't listen. We can't do anything for those, but the ones that we can have an impact on, we need to do that. And to follow on, with your conversation, with your question about, conversations amongst Black males, it's definitely, I definitely like to pick the brain of other fathers from time to time. And even if I don't pick their brain, just from friends that I have or, people that I know, just to kind of get an idea of what they do, with their families and everything else. And then again, we can all learn from each other. So I look at their actions. I talk with them to see what we can do, or what works for them, so to say. And then just kind of, see if I can put, take what they gave me and then kind of just put my own spin on it and see if I can, improve my situation with my family and relatives as well.
Okay. So with that being said, as a Black man in society, a contributing member into society, do you feel like you are doing a good job? And if not, that goes back to the tools that you need to succeed. What is missing? And if you have any advice for guys who are contributing members to society, but feel like they're not doing good enough.
Me, myself personally, I feel that I'm doing a good job. Of course, there's always room to grow. I've always been one to believe that if you feel like you become a master at something, it's time to pick up something else. Not saying you have to be a jack of all trades and a master of none, but, we definitely should have multiple things on our belt, especially in this society, whether it be multiple streams of income or multiple, different outlooks on life. We just can't be stagnant in that regard. And as far as the tools that I have, I think I have a pretty good tool set. I could always use additional tools to back up the ones that I do have.
I know some screws are loose. Yes. Not all of them, but some of them. I think it's in the back behind the ear. Some of them a little loose. But I got you.
But yeah, I think I have a pretty good tool set, and I do my best to show my worth. Whether
I
it
agree.
be either it be with with my either one of my jobs.
Spit it out.
Whether it be with either one of my jobs or again just with interactions with people, because I think that we all flow off of energy, and whatever you may be going through, if you are able to give that positive energy to someone else that may be going through a negative time, just your way that you look at things, or just that moment that you give that positive energy can they can feed off of it and maybe be able to turn something around for them.
That's what's up. I agree. There are some guys who I used to work at the one of the shipyards, very male dominant field, and there's a lot of them that I came across that you would not believe that did not have grade A communication skills, or to be over the age of 25 without the common knowledge that someone should have at that age. To me, because some of these, going back to education from a couple episodes ago, some of the education that the kids need to be learning, like common sense and survival sense, are not being taught. They're ripping them out, like the different trades, like the automobile. Everybody needs, if you have a driver's license, you need to learn the basics of a car. I passed by going up and down the interstate, not one, but 3 guys had to be between the age of 19 and maybe 23, 24. They still look a little young. sitting on the side of the road with a flat tire that do not know how to change a freaking tire. Now, granted, everybody did not have a successful upbringing.
Yeah.
But once you pass that threshold age of being able to vote, you're considered an adult.
Yeah.
If you can go and sign your name on the line and pass the physical to go and fight for the country, you need to be smart enough to say, hey, can you teach me how to change a tire? Check my oil. I saw this. I went to visit my uncle, and I kid you not, this guy was waiting on his brother to come and change his girlfriend's tire. His girlfriend got out the car and said, don't worry about it. She jacked up her own car, changed her own tire, and drove off with him standing right there on the side of the road. I kid you not.
Yeah, I mean, it's even with that.
It's different. It's different. This age group is very different.
Yeah. And again, I think that comes down to one, did they have a father figure? Not saying that they had to have their father around them. Was there a grandfather that, they could have been around, or was there an uncle or somebody? I mean, and as much as we see in the street sometimes where they want, we'll see some brothers, go to the nearest drug dealer. Hey man, put me on, let me, give me a chance, and they'll learn from a drug dealer, but they won't learn, like you said, they won't learn the basics of survival, from someone else. Again, that just comes with priorities as well too.
But that's also to that's playing on the families not being there for each other. Say Big Mama had 5 kids, okay? All 5 kids, they grew up, they had 3 kids, 2 to 3 kids apiece. Those first cousins adore each other. 2 of those sisters, a brother and a sister, those siblings then fell out. Okay?
Yeah.
Now y'all back at the family reunion or it's holidays or what have you. And now one family member is shaming another family member, the siblings are, and now the cousins are beefing because of something simple like, oh, you had to call your daddy to come and change your tire. Like, why is that such a big deal? Stop shaming each other and reach out and help each other. And I know everybody's not going to do this, but just keep your thoughts to yourself, because you have to think about if that was you or your child. Now, granted, you still need to damn learn how to change a tire.
Yeah.
Check your oil. All of this. But just help each other. It's too many families that are broken up by shame. It's too many Black men that are stepping away from family because of shame. You might have 6 or 7 kids by 5 or 6 different women, and everybody's shaming you. But in actuality, and I'm not sticking up for the deadbeats. I'm not sticking up for nobody with all these damn kids. You should have wore a condom, got a vasectomy, or the chick should have been on some damn birth control.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's a cry for help. That's an intention.
Yeah.
Like, I can't get nobody to love me, so I'm going to make kids who going to love me. You know what I'm saying? You got to look at it like this. Some Black men are out there screaming for help, and is being ignored. So another segue that just popped up in my head. Do you feel like it's a stigma on Black men going to therapy? I know Charlamagne kind of spoke on this on the Breakfast Club about therapy. I've been a fan of therapy for years. But Black people kind of don't like people in their business, which is fine.
Yeah, that's pretty much been the Black standard is, don't seek therapy. But I will say I am an advocate for therapy. Actually, therapy has gotten me through quite a few different situations in my life. And again, I think it's just something that we all need because
I don't like how you stress that all.
I'm being serious. Like, we all have particular traumas or things that we go through.
Definitely.
Whether it's small or big. But at the end of the day, we have to learn how to deal with those things. And if we're not finding the proper outlets, then we're only doing damage to the people that we interact with, because just for example, let's say, like you said, you got a black man that has 5 or 6 kids because he never felt the love from his mother, or, or he felt the love from his mother, but knew that his father went away or never to return. So yeah, like you said, now he's having all these kids to get the love that he never received from his father. And if he's not able to confront that, face it, and learn productive ways to get over it, he's just creating a cycle, because 9 times out of 10, whatever he's learned, he's going to show his sons.
Of course, sons and daughters.
Right. So,
and that makes a real tough decision on the daughters. Like, well, if my dad did me like that, then this guy's gonna do me like that. The next guy gonna do me like that. So let me do him dirty before he get a chance to leave me, and then that turns a good guy bad. And then it's just a vicious cycle all over again. Like, people are so afraid of being played. Not saying that anybody should just wait on being played, but everybody is so protective on being played that nobody understands when somebody is being real and genuine with them.
Yeah.
Like, everybody is
guarded.
Very guarded. Like, for instance, that god awful holiday is coming up. Some people call it Valentine's Day. But a lot of people are like, I don't have a boo. Well, you done shitted on 12 dudes, or you didn't check your inbox or your DMs, and now you don't have a boo, but you got 13 good guys that's not chasing you, so to speak. And, like, what you gonna do with them? Now you're mad because ain't nobody gonna buy, Dollar Tree chocolate and a little gas station rolls. Like, shut up. But some people are extremely damaged. So when you going back to all these kids, but you don't have them, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Say you did have 6 kids. How
that's a whole fire team plus on there. Okay.
Did your blood pressure go up a little bit?
Just a little bit.
So they said 1 in 3 kids are born of homosexuality. How would you have a very strong odds with 6 kids? How would you address that if, say, out of the 6 kids, you got 4 that are LGBTQ plus and all them other letters and acronyms and alphabets and symbols?
Right.
Pick one, damn it.
I honestly, and I think we briefly touched on this, I think the last episode, but regardless of how my kids may want to see themselves loving a significant other, whether it be of the same sex, opposite sex, or whatever, their lifestyle is not going to be the main decision on how I treat them and love them. I've always been taught, and I've just always thought that, people are going to live their lives, and even the little kids, again, we in most Black families, we want to guide them in one direction. And if we don't get those results, then we start, like you said, start shaming them and shunning them, instead of embracing that, yes, this person could be different from all the other ones that you dealt with. And again, it could start with the children, but I'm not going to turn them away if, let's say, my daughter wants to become a lesbian, or my son says, he's gay, or, decides that, they want to be a queer, or one wants to even be a furry. I'm not gonna.
What the fuck is a furry? I don't even want to know. We'll talk about that off air. So I know most guys, especially Black men, they heterosexual men want their son to be, of course, their namesake, especially if it's their firstborn.
Yeah.
They want to be their namesake, mini-me, best friend, and all this other good stuff. And it's all fun and games and cool when they're younger. But then when the child gets 10, 11, and hormones and body odor and all this other good stuff, and then you find out that your son, I don't want to get hit playing football no more. I want to get on the sideline with the cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Like, how do you embrace that, going from he's dressing like you, and then I know this is just hypothetical for you,
right.
But how do you go from that? Because I think a couple episodes ago I mentioned that one of my friends, he came into a situation, something similar to this, where he is he's a stepfather, and it's a set of twins, and they are a boy and a girl, and the boy is not as heterosexual as he should be. And he is uncomfortable with it because he doesn't want to feel like he is trying to change him or don't want to be around. So if I'm kind of stumbling on my words because I don't want to kind of tell you what he said. I want to hear what your opinion is. But how do you feel? Okay, you walking into a situation, you're dating a girl, twins, boy and a girl. One, the boy is very, when I mean feminine, like her, his girlfriend or whoever she is to him, the little gay boy mama, she includes him in shopping when she's going with her daughter, and it's not to get boy clothes. And they're like 12, 13 years old. See, it's not as easy to process that when it's a boy. But y'all can do it when it's a girl. But I'm listening. Shoot, go.
Yeah, I mean, that is a difficult situation to deal with. But again, it comes to, do you want to, even though the son may not be living to what you may have perceived or the expectations that you may have had for your son? To me, when it comes to kids in general, whether it's boy or girl, my mentality is this: are my actions, are my words, are my decisions, are they going to impact them so badly to where they may later shun me or feel like that they are not getting support from the persons that they're, that's supposed to be their main supporters, their mother and their father. And if they cannot feel that they are getting the love, support, care that they're supposed to be getting from their parents, then again, this is just me, but I think that, the parents are doing a major disservice to the child because, again, one, they're developing more issues than what they may already be dealing with, especially if the kids are Black. And for a kid to be Black and gay is already a struggle. And again, that goes with, especially if they try to figure themselves out when they're that, you said like 12, 11, 12, right? The boy was?
At the time when they first got together, they were like 11. And they're technically still together now. I think it's still kind of rocky. And they're 13 now, about to be 14. But how do you, as a partner, as a Black man, how do you go to your spouse, girlfriend, whoever, and let them know, not necessarily that you're uncomfortable, but how do you address this with your spouse? Because I know if it was me, like, okay, coming from a mom, and introducing my feminine son and my dominant daughter to a significant other would be kind of challenging to me,
Yes,
especially if you like that person and you're women, strong women. And yes, I said strong women, come for me. I don't care. Strong women who value themselves don't have all kind of men around their children.
Right.
And like I said, what I said, come for me. I don't care. They don't have all kind of men in and out of their kids' life. So when you introduce a man to your kids, it has moved beyond just friends. So, Dorian, with that being said, do you want more offspring? They overrated. But do you want more? I don't know why people keep having them. Yes, I have too.
I would, to be honest, I would not be against it. I honestly would not be against it, but I think even with the two that I have, if I was to have physically, or I got with someone and they wanted another kid, then yeah, I would be fine with having that additional kid. But I'm also, I'm also not gonna say I'm closed-minded to, again, if I get with someone else and they have kids already, then I gotta treat them as my own. So if the person I get with has 1, 2, 3 more kids, then I would treat them as my own. But yeah,
bless you.
I would have to check. To be honest, I would have to check my own sanity. Not before I say this. I'm not against any woman that has 3 or more kids, but I know for myself that with the 2 that I have already, I'm perfectly fine with a woman that has 1 or 2 kids at the moment. And if not, hopefully they're not looking for any more. Because, I think my limit is 4.
Good Lord. Blessed be to all that are. I stopped at 2 for a reason. Going back to what I said, I don't know if I said it or not. I know I talked to one of my friends and I was told, I said, I didn't want kids. I was damn near 30 when I had my first one.
Yeah, you did.
No. Hell no. I was going to be the drunk auntie, get high, get drunk, buy you all the illegal shit you want, bail you out if you get in trouble. Yeah, you can spend the night at my house, but not be here for real. I don't care. But you end up pregnant. You left in the middle of the night. I'ma lie. I'm gonna cover my own ass. That was my plan. I didn't want kids. The Lord blessed me with 2. But okay, got it. So
yeah, I'm not. I won't say that I won't run from the idea of a blended family, because at this, in these days and times in this generation, it's going to be hard to find a woman around my age group that does not have kids.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I apologize, y'all. I didn't mean to do that. So I think we touched on this a little bit about the sex talk. You said you weren't giving a sex talk. I was giving it to me forcefully. I didn't want it. I didn't care about it. So how would you, I want not necessarily details, but sit me down and talk to me and give me the sex talk as if I was your son. Go.
Put me on the spot like this.
Of course. This is live.
Oh, shoot.
Unscripted radio.
Very unscripted. To be honest with you, I wouldn't know where to start, honestly, if I had to say again, but it's a little bit unusual for me because, again, I have 2 daughters. So most of that talk has been done by their mother, and I just piggyback. And I think we addressed this on the last episode too, where I never had the sex talk.
Yeah.
Most of my stuff was, most of the stuff that I learned was either from the streets or
encyclopedia.
Not even encyclopedia, but from health education class. So I, that's something that I probably would have to prepare myself for again if I do meet a woman and we get in a relationship and she has a son. I mean, that not to say that that the son's father is not in their life or not, but if I'm going to be a major part of their life, then yeah, I would probably have to participate in that talk too. But I would give the actual father, that opportunity to do that first before I even stepped into that realm.
Listen, I believe in the truth and the gruesomeness when it comes to the sex talk. Yes, it brings enjoyment, pleasure after years of practice. But your first few times, man, it makes hurt. Yeah, what do I? No. We're not gonna go there, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The sex talk is definitely something that needs to be written down in a book. It needs to be a manual.
Yeah.
So, my last question to you, I guess, is the interview. My bad.
It's all good.
Why is it so hard for a Black man, men in general, but I don't know if you know this or not, but you're a Black man.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you. It's
catchy. But yeah, why is it so hard for Black men to show emotions? And why is it so hard for Black men to show emotions with their kids? Do you guys feel like you'll be looked at as being weak, especially with their sons? Daughters too, I think guys try to play the role sometimes as being hard. You want to feel like you're a pushover, even though we know you are when it comes to your daughters. But because you'll say no. My dad will tell you quick if he was here. He'll tell you that heifer don't know what no is. I don't accept that word very well. I don't respond to that word, and I'm okay with that. I've embraced it, but most men try to act hard, knowing that they're gonna buckle under pressure. But why is it so hard for you guys to show emotion in relationship? Period. Like you can care for this person and love this person, but then it's like pulling teeth for you guys to respond to it. I give it to you. Y'all got the resting bitch face when it comes to relationships.
My opinion on that is, in general, I think it is just the way that we are raised. Is from a tradition standpoint. Is from a survival standpoint. I think we touched on this slightly a couple episodes back, but most men, especially Black men, are taught don't cry, don't show any emotion. You got to be tough, no matter what. You gotta be the one, to hold everyone down. So, even that being taught to us at a young age, again, can cause some issues depending on the type of person that they find themselves coming up to be. And, when that kind of repetition is put into us, oh, you fall down, you better not cry. Oh, if something else happened to you, you better stand up. And especially if you were environment of a ghetto or anything else of that nature, or you had a street life and, you cannot show your fear regardless. And again, I think it's something that's taught to where for us to have emotion or to show emotion is a sign of weakness. And, and again, that comes back up to survival, because most of us, not to stereotype everything, but most of us grew up in the hood. Most of us grew up in the ghetto somewhere. So
how dare you attack me like that, sir?
But, just in general, I mean, we come from that mind state. And if, anyone that had dealt with street life, if you show fear or you show that you have a link to someone, especially if you showed emotion towards a female or kids or anything else like that, that was used against you.
Yeah, it's a weapon.
Yeah.
In the hood, it's definitely a weapon.
Yeah. So, when we come up in that environment, it's going to be harder for us to show emotion and harder for us to try to get all of our thoughts off without seeming weak. And again, that's something we don't want to do. And like you said, when it comes to our daughters, that's usually when most men show the most weakness, because again, that's our daughters. It's just something about daughters where we can be as tough as we want to be. We can be in their face like, no, you're not going to get that. As soon as she starts, them little tears start coming down or that little pouty face come up, then it's like,
it wears off.
Shattered. It eventually wears off. But I mean, especially when they're little,
yeah,
that, it melts our hearts. But, just to go back to that, it's more so, I think it's the way that we were raised, especially, and I've seen it and heard it from some brothers that, grew up with that, with just their mother. Their father wasn't around, it was always, you better not cry, son, you better be a man. And, as much as a single mother or I won't even say a co-parenting mother, because the father is in the situation co-parent, but in a single mother reference, most cases, the father's not around that much. So the mother's playing the mother and the father role, trying to raise their son. And, it can be difficult, but I think we spoke on this as well, that even if you are the single mother, it's still best for that young boy to have some kind of male father figure around, whether it be,
a relative or close friend or whatnot.
Yeah, so that's a battle that we always come to deal with. And speaking for myself personally, it's been a struggle for me to show my emotions as much. And not to say that it's because of my raising, the way I was raised, because I was raised to show some emotion. But again, it was more reinforced that you got to be tough.
But I get it. This is what we're taught. This is what we instill. I call bullshit on it for the simple fact that when you know better, you do better. You know that you don't want to be stuck in the hood forever. So what the hell you do? You get a job, you get your credit semi-good, you move the hell up out of it, and you get your money right. Yeah. You can do the same thing when it comes to your feelings. And I know it takes a minute. I get it.
Yes.
Don't come for me. It take a minute. But you ain't lived in the hood since you were 22, 23 years old. And I'm just using the age as an example. Mm-hmm. But here you are, between 35 and 40 years old, and you still can't A, hold a decent conversation with a female, B, afraid to tell somebody you love them or let them in. That's some internal shit. It ain't just the environment that you were raised in no more.
Right. Yeah. And, not to say that, and again, when I say that, it's not that I'm saying that that's the wholehearted reason. But, again, when it comes to that, it's, it's something that we're taught. But just like you've been saying, based on the stuff that we've been taught, it's up to us to break, that cycle when it comes to certain things. And again, if they've never been taught how to deal with those problems or how to,
they weren't taught how to get the hell out the ghetto either, but they did it.
They did it, right. But I mean, and for some, it's easier, just like with anything. You have some that are quick learners in certain areas. And for some, they have to learn a different way. Like me, for example, like if I'm taught something and let's say it's something that has to do with electronics or something, I pick up on it quick. Now you give me something like, I want to say, you give me an algebra problem that I haven't touched in forever years. Yeah, I'm going to need someone to walk me back through it so I can kind of refresh my steps. And, again, that goes the same way when it comes to dealing with relationships. Yeah, you have some people that, grew up in the ghetto and they found a quick way to get out of it. But yeah, they were so focused on getting out the ghetto, they didn't focus on helping themselves mentally. And they may take them to get out of the ghetto to help themselves to kind of break down those walls, break down those standards to where they can be able to, like you said, have a conversation with someone or to show their emotions, let somebody, let someone in, let someone tell someone that they love them. Now, I have no problem with showing people that I love them, but again, a lot of when it comes to conversations, I have conversations with people, but when it comes to showing my emotions, that was something that I had to embrace, recognize it was a flaw that I had, and then work towards fixing that flaw. But again, that's something that you have to do within self. And a lot of people don't want to focus on self. They're too busy focused on either what people say or how they look or how they may be perceived in the bigger case.
And I want to take a moment to adjust the conversation a little bit because I don't want to hear it. If you don't like the word ghetto, take whatever situation you grew up in and insert it there, whether it be trailer park, whether it's a multifamily home, or you lived in the country, the wilderness, or or you lived on an Indian reservation, wherever you grew up, wherever you want to insert instead of ghetto, slap it there. Okay? Thank you. That's all I have to say about that. I mean, because, most of the majority of Black people grew up in the hood or some form of it. Mm-hmm. And that's just like, for instance, and I reference this friend a lot because we talk frequently. We were talking about growing up in the hood because I was like, damn, we need to get that scooter out the front yard. It's been there for a while. And she was like, girl, we can't leave no scooters in the front yard. When I grew up, where the hell I grew up, you couldn't leave your scooters either. But when you know better, you do better. Yep. You move, you adjust, and you can live places where you can leave your thin razor scooter on the front lawn for 3 to 4 days and don't nobody bother. Exactly. Somebody might even move it closer to your porch for you just to help you out. So, I mean, you know better, you do better. So it's just amazing how being around guys, how they can open up to their female friends a little bit more than they can their relationship. I have a friend, I know more about his damn relationship than I think his girlfriend does. But that's just, we've been friends for so long. And I think it's horrible. And I tell him this. I said, why don't you tell her that? Man, I can't. Well, break up with her. I love her. Does she know how much you love her? I think so. Well, you want me to tell her? No. She don't like you. Okay, well, I can't do nothing about that, but it's amazing how you guys won't open up. And yes, I'm talking about Black men, won't open up, but you will. Like, for instance, I don't care if y'all come from me. This means nothing at all, okay? I have a United Nations when we show up to family reunions. So it's like when it comes to interracial relationships, did I say that right? Yeah.
Interracial, yeah.
Yeah. I say interracial. Okay, so interracial relationship. Anywho, it's like a successful Black man supposedly hits it big, and the first thing they want is a white woman on their shoulder. For instance, they did an article a couple months ago where they had all the moguls, Black hip hop moguls, and none of their women were Black. None of them. And they're quick to holler about supporting the Black queen and fist to the sky this, and you down for your hood and you all about Blackness, but yet you have a white woman on your shoulder. Now, let me say this. Not all white women are bad. Not all white women are with you for your money.
Right.
There are some that genuinely love our Black men, and I'm okay with that. If one would not have fallen in love with my brother and vice versa, I wouldn't have my nephew, and goes on with my cousins and so forth. Hell, if one wouldn't have fell in love with, well, he's not a white woman. He's a white man. Wouldn't have fell in love with my son's grandmother. I wouldn't have my son. So I get it. Caucasians are not bad, but it seems like Black men open up just a little bit more when they have white women around. I don't know if it's because of the submissiveness that they say that white women have or what, but how do you feel about that?
I think it does play a factor. And then I think I referenced actually two reference. There was a YouTube video I seen not too long ago where it was two brothers and they were talking, and then one brother, invited his girlfriend over. His girlfriend happened to be Hispanic. And then they get to talking and, talking about how she looks. And then he starts, going on and on about how, she's so different from a Black woman. And then, his homie had to check him and be like, hold up, bro. You're not going to be talking about, Black women like that, because, the same things that you're saying that's wrong with Black women, you're saying the same thing about your mother.
Yeah.
You're saying the same thing about your sister. You're saying the same thing about your auntie, but we don't look at it in that aspect. We're just looking at ourselves. And again, when you don't know how to deal with someone, you escape to something else. So I think for a lot, and again, this is just my opinion, I think that a lot of brothers, when they reach that apex, the biggest trophy, and I think this goes back to, I think some of it can be told back to, slavery and some of the things like that. But yeah, the biggest trophy is to have a white woman. And again, like you said, it could be just because of the submissive part. They don't want someone that's going to be strong and, as quote unquote, as they say, swinging their neck at them and having all the attitude. That's something they don't want to deal with. But just
here's the thing. Oh, okay, go ahead.
But just like with any relationship in general, if you're not having the communication, if you're not doing the things that you're supposed to for that person, and that's one, coming to learn how to understand them, know how they work, know what their, quote unquote, love language is. You have to learn that person and learn how they receive love. If you're not able to do those things, then yeah, you're going to have difficulties. Yeah, that person's not going to be receptive of what you're trying to do. And yeah, it's not going to work out. So yeah, you may have that Black woman that's on your case about changing because, one, most women date the potential of a man. They don't always see, they see the potential first, and then that's what they get attached to. And then once that either the potential stays, or they still see it may continue to rise, or it, again, may not ever come out. But if you're not able to, deal with the way that a person is loving, the stuff that you need to do in a relationship, then you got a bunch of other issues that you need to figure out as well. And just because you get with someone of a different race, as a Black man, that's not going to solve all your problems.
No,
because every race have their problems as well. Just like you said with a relationship, if he goes to a white woman, what if the family doesn't accept him?
Yeah, you're right. But the thing about it is, and the women might come for me when I say this, I don't care. Email me at missmvp@convosinthepart.com. Send me all your issues. Women, Black women, will be submissive for a man that is leading.
Right.
We will be submissive for a man who is not leading. But he has to have, what you said, potential. He has to show that he's working towards better.
Right.
Can't just be on those get rich quick schemes all the time.
Yeah.
So if a woman is catching that, Black woman is catching the attitude with you, then, like you said, on your ass, then that's a good thing. You should be happy. It's the moment that she stops.
Yeah. That's
that
something
you
that
should be worried.
yeah.
I mean, that's just plain and simple. I'm gonna be on your neck if I know that you're supposed to do something. Why? Why not? Who else gonna be on your neck? Clearly you're not, but I know this is something that you have to do. So if Black women are sassy and neck rolling, it's because we know that you need to do what you have to do in order to see yourself the way that we see you. So I will go ahead and say, from all Black women, we ain't gonna stop the neck rolling. We're not gonna stop our foot from being on your neck figuratively until you see yourself as the kings that you are. So if you don't like it, then step the hell off. Yeah, go find you somebody who's gonna deal with your BS. But in the meantime, those of you who do, appreciate her as she's rolling her neck and snapping her fingers and calling you and saying, have you done this? Have you done that? She's not nagging you. She just wanted you to see the vision that she sees in you. So that's my take on it. I know I'm not a Black man, but
I do. There is since we kind of got into this area, there is one thing I do want to touch on and just kind of get your take on it. Now when it comes to when we talk about that potential, how from a Black woman, how long is that? How long do you follow that potential? Let's just say now, about to make this seem real. What's the word I'm looking for? Well, anyway, all right. So let's say you are dating someone and they want to be a rapper.
It doesn't exist. They want to be a rapper.
Want to be a rapper.
How old is he?
All right, let's just okay.
Let's get to that first.
That's true too. All right, now let's say mid-20s. Mid-20s, getting ready to go into his 30s.
A long time. Okay.
Mid-20s and it's going into his 30s, and he wants to be a rapper. He sees all his favorite rappers flaunting all their jewels and everything else, living or portraying a lifestyle that they may not be living, but that's another topic for different episode. But you see him pursuing his rap career. It's not going anywhere. How long do you support? And two, when do you serve them the reality check?
So you serve them the reality check at the same time that you're supporting them.
Okay.
The same way you do your children. Like, your child is horrible at basketball, but you're going to be right there cheering them on. Like, baby, look, you got to have a fallback game. What's your next plan? What you going to fall back on? Mm-hmm. Just like a parent and their older children. Like, okay, you don't want to go to college. Okay, are you going to trade school? What you going to do? Like, what is your alternative? So if you are in your mid-age range, almost 30, and you still pursuing a rap career, this is not to knock anybody who's pursuing anything in the musical arts, okay? Don't come for me. So I would say, what is your alternative? How are you funding these studio sessions? Like, are you working? Are you doing this on the side as well as taking care of what you need to take care of? Because there's a lot of stipulations with rappers that they just, they just sit around the studio all day. They're trying, but not necessarily doing. Like, how are you funding this? This is going to be my first question. Like, before you met me, how are you funding it? Because I can't fund your hobbies when, especially if it's not any income coming in with it. And that may seem selfish, but I got shit to do.
Right.
So I wouldn't personally entertain someone who is that old and trying to still rap. But I'm not going to knock it either. I don't know how old everybody in the rap game were when they made it. So to each his own in that respect of their art. But I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, because I mean, it kind of leads into one of the biggest things that I think Black men deal with is sometimes when it comes to certain dreams, we feel like we don't get the support, especially from the person that we're supposed to be with, our significant other, all the time as much. And again, it's not to say that one person's dream will not be for everyone, but we do want to have that support, especially from our girlfriend or significant other, whichever way your boat floats. So, to that point, do you, as a Black woman, do you look at the bigger dream, the scope that that the person that your king is having, and do you follow that? Do you try to help him adjust it? Do you try to guide him in the right direction? Do you show him additional resources? Do you introduce him to additional resources? Or is it just something like you see where he's going with it and you think it may not fail, so you just kind of stop him?
Well, he's going to need to have some type of additional career. The year of the starving artist kind of fell off in the early 2000s. It's too many, in my opinion. This is just my brain and this is how I think. The starving artist fell back in 2000. Like, it's too many side hustles, too many ways for you not to have any income. I can support your dreams without it being financially, but financially, when it comes to a relationship, especially if it's a long-term relationship, financially, it can be a burden. And if kids are involved, that becomes even stickier situation. So you can support them from a distance, so to speak, and keep it going. But that is something that you really have to sit down and talk with your significant other about. Like, hey, honey, I love you. I like the fact that you're passionate about it, but these bills are just adding up. Like, we can do this separate, or we can do this together, but shit still got to get done. So, if anybody got any opinion on this situation, or they are living this situation right now, contact us. Give us some insight on this. This is a touchy subject when it comes to the Black man and the support system. But I'm interested in it. That's my take on it. Like, what we gonna do?
Right.
Because clearly you ain't doing it by yourself. What we gonna do? What's your alternative?
Yeah, because again, when we come to look for that support, and again, it goes back to the kind of figures that we had, kind of to wrap things up as far as that. I'll just say for me, like my biggest influences as far as the man that I was, the man that I'm becoming, all stems from I had some good father figures in my, not just father figures overall.
You had your daddy.
I had my father. I had both of my grandfathers before they passed. I had some good uncles. And not just that, but also my brother. It is a big influence on my life. Just because of what they stood for, even with my father's dad, who kind of was that. I guess you could go back. They say Papa was a Rolling Stone, my grandfather was a Rolling Stone, and it wasn't until I got in my teenage years that I found all this information out. But even
that goes back, I don't mean to cut you off, that goes back to family not sharing secrets and shaming each other. But carry on. You're just making my point.
But even with that, he was still there for both sides of both sides of his family, so to speak, both sides of the children.
Both sets of his children.
Both sets of his offspring. So yeah, just to see him be that and still be the upstanding man that I always saw him to be, was a big inspiration. And again, with my father, who had, in my eyes, he had he started off working for other people as a mechanic, but when I was growing up, for for a long time, he had his own shop.
Mm-hmm.
So just to see a black man having his own business was always big to me. And then again, just the life lessons that he taught me. And again, and
likewise,
so that was always the biggest influence on me. And then I say my brother more so because the inspiration of what he did. Yeah, he went to the college route, but he took all that education and everything else, and he's got a great life for himself. So I always salute him for that. And just the other uncles, just life lessons, because it's some stuff I learned from the street, some stuff I learned from street knowledge from them, and sometimes common sense, and just from their examples, I learned a lot. So yeah, I definitely want to take this time to definitely shout out, big up, and show respect to the men that were in my life that helped me to become the person that I am now, and the person that I hopefully will become.
That's what's up. I'm sure they greatly appreciate that. So I have a puzzling question. In our show notes, guys, there's a question. I've been going around this question all evening because I've been trying to figure out what's the meaning of it. I'm going to get to the bottom of it. So, the God awful holiday is coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said before, some of y'all call it Valentine's Day, but who cares? So, on these show notes, it says, if you're not with the mother of your children, do you still find it respectful to get a gift or be nice to them? And I'm assuming that has something to do with like Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, and or Christmas, holiday, yada, 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 when it comes to buying gifts. So I do want to hear from our listeners on that question. So that'll be our park bench question as well. So me, if I am with someone, let's just call him John Doe. If I'm with him and he wants to, whomever, and he wants to buy his baby mama a gift for, say, Mother's Day, we're going to call her Jane Doe. It needs to be from the children. It doesn't need to be directly from him, in my eyes, my vision. When it comes to Christmas gifts, it needs to be something from the children. And I don't mean like no negligee or anything like that. Something that doesn't have any type of quote unquote feelings tied to it.
Right.
So if you're gonna buy her something like a tea kettle, a coffee cup, or something like that here, that's fine. But when it comes to birthdays or Valentine's Day, I don't think you should. It sends mixed messages, especially if you guys are not together. I'm going to tell you, if we're not together, don't buy me anything for Valentine's Day. Don't buy me anything for Christmas. Don't buy me anything for my birthday. You can give me something for Mother's Day, and then may be like, well, fuck you, I ain't getting you nothing. I don't care. That's how you feel, but that's also how I feel. Don't play with my emotions.
Yeah. For me, yeah, I'm kind of along those same lines. Yeah, even with the mother of my children, with Valentine's Day come around, yeah, if we're not together, I'm not getting her a gift. Now, again, for Mother's Day, yeah, I will get her something to say, hey, it may not be, it's not going to have something with feelings attached, but it's, just say thank you for, being there for my children. Thank you for being one of my children, and leave it there. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, if it comes to gifts, yeah, it should not, unless for some reason you still have feelings for them, or you may feel like you want to, do something or go along that route. Then yeah, then okay, have at it. But yeah, if y'all are just co-parents, y'all done set the standard, y'all know where everything sits. Then yeah, there don't need to be anything that kind of crosses that line.
Yeah.
Because like you say, yeah, you're sending mixed signals. But yeah, if it's a co-parent stand and the boundaries are already been set, yeah, I don't think there's nothing wrong with getting them a gift for Mother's Day or Christmas. But like you said, it should be from the children, or if you're going to quote unquote get it for yourself, then yeah, make sure it's something that they won't look at it and be like, they think you catching feelings or something like that.
Yeah. Because, Jasmine Sullivan, she said, don't forget to come pick up your feelings, boo. They under the tree where you left them. So I agree. Don't send mixed signals. It's a lot of unresolved issues when it comes to relationships when there was passion and love involved.
Yeah.
And you can get hurt all over again, which in turns, if you are in a relationship or getting into a relationship, makes it harder for that next person. So make sure that your hands are washed on both sides before you move forward into a relationship. I can't stress that more than needed, but it's definitely a healing path that needs to be created in between relationships. I don't see how people jump from relationship to relationship to relationship. That shit is funny and nerve-wracking to me all at the same time. I'm like, how can you do this? Like, clearly it was something in that relationship. If you were just with that person, and it's not necessarily a relationship, it goes back to that situationship. And hey, I'm cool with that. That's you, do you. But me, if I'm going to say I'm in a relationship, it's going to be purposeful and it's going to be meaningful. So you have, when souls get tied, the healing process comes when the souls are untying, and that's a whole different subject. There's a whole different subject. The spiritual community understands what I'm talking about, but it's a lot that goes in touch with that. So the mental health tip for the day is make sure that your healing path is clean, whether it's with a friendship, is with a relationship, situationship, one night stand on somebody crush you and had, whatever it is, make sure you're healing.
Entanglement.
And entanglement, definitely. Make sure that your healing path is cleared. You have to go back and forth across that healing path. If it's not bonded the right way, then it's going to break, and that causes trouble. And that's where you have resentment. That's where you're bitter. Or in my case, at the beginning of the show, I was mean because I had a connection with my phone. So, I mean, the bond was tight, so it got broken, but you have to make sure that you have that. It's some people who can't even mention the names of their exes or be in the same room with their exes, and it just hate, bitter friction that goes back and forth. Y'all see it on Maury all the time, but it's like, why can't we sit down and just talk and have a complete sentence? Or where you can't look somebody in the eye, you're unhealed. There's still some unresolved issues. So I have no problem with looking anybody in the eye that I know of and telling them anything, because I try to make sure that myself is healed. So mental health tip, heal. My financial tip of the day, and the last time we spoke, I said buy in bulk. Continue to buy in bulk. People up north, they're dealing with a snowstorm, the end of a snowstorm right now. If they would have bought in bulk, they wouldn't have had to rush out to the grocery store. You see what I'm saying? Like your paper products, like that plays on your mental health too. But I digress from that. I do, but yeah, just continue to check on each other, help each other, bond to each other, and hold on to that, because you could be here today, gone today. Not here today, gone tomorrow. The way that this COVID-19 rolling around, here today, gone today. So just hold on and embrace each other and keep your mental healing path clear. What you got?
I just want to take this time, just again, salute to all the Black kings out there.
Salute
to the Black princes that are growing up to become kings. Again, just make sure that you're taking care of yourself, because if you're not taking care of yourself, there's no way that you can take care of your empire.
Exactly. So, definitely.
Make sure that, if you need to get your financial game up, if you need to get a better job, don't just sit and, one of the best quotes I've heard, and I try to live by as much as I can, is goes, if you lay dormant, expect mediocrity.
Definitely.
So, yeah, if you are just sitting on your heels, going through the monotony day to day, you're not going to get better. You got to find some way to expand yourself, whether it be with getting finance, learning the stock game, because the stock game is hot right now, or, just, again, finding the ways to get multiple streams of income to come in. Make sure you take care of yourself and your family as financially as possible. Again, I will say this every episode if I need to. Fellas, we got to make sure our mental health game is A1. I know it's been like the current hot thing to say, but I'm not saying it just to follow, the current hot topics. That's something I never want to build combos in the park around. But yes, you definitely need to take the time to get the mental health. If you do not have insurance that can cover going to see a therapist or a counselor or a psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever, then you need to find alternatives. I'm pretty sure that most Department of Health areas would be able to help you find some resources to get yourself together as far as that. And if you do have a job, definitely look into your EAP program, because they can help you out with, trying to, find the right people that you need. So yeah, definitely be mindful of that. And
reach out to us if you feel like venting. Send us an email if you feel like venting. We'll have a conversation with you. Believe me, this is a safe space. This is a non-biased situation. All feelings get checked at the door. So if you're sensitive or you're too angry, check your feelings at the door. Come here. Let's relax. Let's talk. Let's get some stuff off our chest. So definitely our Black men and our non-Black men have to keep their heads clear and focused, because a couple episodes ago, I mentioned the fact that Black men have a target on their back. And I know that y'all seen this meme going around. It's been going around for years. It's been said for years. Like, you have to be your man's peace. You have to be. And it's not the fact that they're pushing the women's issues or problems or questions or feelings to the side, but women have a support system far more greater than men. We have our girlfriends, we have our sisters, we have the chick who does our hair. Like, we have a support system where we can go and vent. Men, not so much. They may have one person who they can talk to that's not a female. And we have to be that outlet for them. So embrace him. If he's having a rough day, just hug him. And it ain't no quick hug, just hug him. Let him take that sigh, that deep breath in, and relax it out. Just be his peace. And I promise you, everything else will fall into play. It has to be.
Yeah, and just to follow up on that, I will end with this message. Black men, we need to take care of our queens. I don't know if anyone have heard this. I don't even know if you heard this, Ms. MVP, but there was an incident that went on in New York where some brothers were, this woman was on her way home in Harlem, and she stopped by the liquor store, to get something to wind down her day after a day of work. And there was some brothers there, and they ended up, just asking her, trying to ask her out or whatever. She declined them, and then they continued on by asking to or offered to buy whatever she was going to buy. She declined. They followed her, beat her up, bit her, pretty much assaulted her in all ways, shapes, or form. And if I'm remembering correctly, I don't think they did rape her, but they did assault her. And that's the kind of stuff that we don't need to let happen.
No, those are not black men. Those are not black kings.
Yeah, those are cowards. Those are wimps. Those are simps. Whatever you want to call them. But yeah. We need to be more mindful. And again, even if it's someone that you see and you've possibly tried to talk to walking down the street, and then you see later on that something's going on, even if even if she shot you down, still protect them at the end of the day, because again, we know that there is a system out there that despises us, would like to see us would like to see us fall, fail, become less in numbers. So yeah, we need to take care of our queens, because one, they're, like Ms. MVP said, they can be our peace if we allow them and let them in to do so. And not only that, they're the givers of our children. So yeah, if we're not protecting them, we're doing our future generations a discredit. So
children are leeches.
But that this I think wraps up the second part of the Black Village series pretty well. I enjoyed the conversation or / interview, but
you're welcome.
but it's all good. Definitely look out for the next episode, which will be on our children, Black children.
We talking about them goddamn children. The famous quote, "Fuck them kids." But we talking about the adult children. Why some of us are as jacked up as we are, and why some of us are more well off than some of us are mentally, financially, physically, and as well as the younger ones that are not quite there just yet. And I mean 0 to 21, not quite there yet. So it should be fun. I think that one might be a little bit longer than we got a lot we gotta squeeze in there.
And as always, please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I will put out there, we're at 60 subscribers, y'all, on YouTube. We're trying to reach that 100 spot. So tell a friend to tell a friend to support.
I got I hadn't even told you, D, but I have 2 combos in the park masks for our 100 subscribers. So if you're not there yet, I'm gonna be watching it like a hawk. They're almost done getting made right now. So 2 combos in the park mask will be sent out to our 100 subscribers. So get it out there. Pass the word on.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. And again, you can find us on Anchor. You can find us anywhere that you listen to your podcast. Make sure that you subscribe so you can get caught up on the next episodes. You get the notifications, letting you know when we're putting out. Everyone that's been following us should know in the 2021.
Yes. I mean, cut you off. Let me tell you how easy it is to find us. If you have an Alexa device in your house, only thing you have to say is Alexa, and then followed by Play Combos in the Park podcast. The newest episode will pop up. You ain't got to do nothing but sit back, relax. Those of you who are fancy and have Alexa in your car now, you can do it like that. Your phone, Echo devices, what have you. It's just that easy. We'll be right there in your ear talking the hell out of you.
But yes, again, everyone that's been listening, we greatly appreciate y'all. Again, just leave that feedback. Oh, and I almost failed to ask this as well, but add this on as well. But if you go to Anchor, you can leave us an audio message.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah. So yeah, you can definitely leave us an audio message. And if we get enough, hey, you never know. The next part, bitch, might be featuring you.
Oh, that's fancy. Watch out, world. Black excellence dripping. Oh, we have new email address also too. We'll put that on the Facebook page and the YouTube and all of the other good stuff for you guys. All our contact information so y'all can harass him. Don't come for me. Love you guys. Thank you for listening.
Yes, and indeed, as always, have you had that convo yet? Are you in that convo yet? Why not? We'll catch you next time.
Why not? Peace.
Peace.